Hello, everybody, and welcome to the video. And I hope you're all doing well. I'm so glad you're here. I realize it's been a few minutes since I've done a regular kind of street photography video, so I'm going to take care of that today. I'm going to do a couple different things in this video. First, for the video, I did return to downtown Bellevue, as is my practice. And I did this time take 3 prime lenses instead of my usual zoom lenses. So I'm trying a little different thing there. I took the 33 millimeter f1.4 from Fujifilm, the 50 millimeter f2, and the 90 millimeter f2 as well. So I'll share those photos in a couple minutes. So another thing I was thinking to do different is to narrate the photos instead of doing a slideshow at the end. So let me know what you think about that. Please leave that in the comments below. Speaking of the comments below, I will also include a link to all the photos that you're going to see here. They'll be on Flickr as well as my website. I'll include links to both of those as well. Kind of a theme in this video that you'll see as I talk about the photos is luck. And I felt lucky in a couple of these photos, and because I didn't plan for them to happen the way they happened, but because I was there at the time I was there, I got the photo. So I've heard one definition of luck is preparedness, being prepared, meeting with opportunity. So in photography terms, I think that means, making a lot of photos, returning to the same place potentially, and knowing how to make photos that you like. So I'll share those lucky photos here and let you know what I think about them, as well as thoughts on these other photos as well. So let's get into the photos without any other delay. So here we go with photo number 1, and this one's going to start with the 33 millimeter lens. Usually my first photo, I think of it as a warm-up. It's getting ready, getting into the groove, seeing things. This leaf, we're in early autumn here, early fall, but we're going to have a lot of this for the next 6 months here in the Northwest. So this is kind of that photo. This is at downtown Bellevue Park. It's a very large and lovely park, and it has a really cool waterfall feature. So here's some reflections with the 90 millimeter of some high rises beyond, and then I wanted to see if I can get a photo with the high rises as well and the reflections. So I liked this photo quite a bit. I like there's both minimalism and a lot going on here. The symmetry I like quite a bit. I usually don't align horizons in the center, but I like how it works in this photo. Also, like, we've got just all the composition work, I think, works really well for creating a whole bunch of symmetry and kind of minimalism, which is something I try to achieve in my photos. So this is a leaf just doing its thing, hanging out, resting on the concrete that surrounds the fountain. Here's a vertical, here's a horizontal. So one of the things I often do is, when I'm not sure which I'm going to prefer, I photograph both. I'll do a vertical and a horizontal, and one might be for social media, one might be for this video instead. So it's always good to have options. Again, I'm still kind of warming up here, I think. I noticed there was a gentleman doing some cleaning of the little pond that is generated by the fountain. So he had a scoop, and he was cleaning out stuff, lots of bird stuff, I imagine, and other things. So here's working number 1. I tried to get a little creative here. There was not a picnic bench, a bench at the park, and photographed through 2 of the wood slats to get him in this photo. And I like the gesture he has here. There's a few other photos I didn't include in this sequence, and again, one of the things I'll do in my street photography often is take a short sequence of photos, maybe 3 to 5 photos over a few seconds to get the one. There's a new restaurant going in one of the high rises that's recently been completed, and here's some of the lights in there. I like light reflections. There's lots of layers here of the building behind, inside the building, and the lights as the main subject. This worker was walking by. I think this will be cool at night. So one of the things I often will do in returning to Bellevue and over again is, as I photograph something, often I'm using the photos as notes. So I'm thinking, in this photo, what do I like but would be better in different atmosphere, in different time of day, if something changed but there's good kind of structure around it, good potential for the photo. So this building, this photo is one of a few I'm going to speak about today that I think will be really interesting at night or could be really cool at a different time of year as well. So that's one of the benefits to returning to the same location. You can think about, okay, what would benefit this photo at a different time of year, different time of day, or with different atmosphere. Just down the road from that a little ways, gentleman on his phone. Lots of people on their phones in Bellevue, hanging out, doing their things. Again, 90 millimeters for this, included a foreground element to get a little sense of layering here. Normally, if I had the 70 to 300 with me, I probably would have zoomed in a little tighter, but I'm glad I have this one. It just gives a sense of the city context. So sometimes having the wider lenses, even though I know 90 millimeters isn't very wide, is a good thing for context. Here's another set of lights in what used to be a restaurant. I think it's going to be a restaurant again at street level. Across the street, you can see there's construction in the reflections. Those are coming up in a second, but I just like how these kind of look like they're floating. Again, at night, this changes quite a bit. So this is one of my, when the sun sets a little earlier in the day, I'm going to return to downtown Bellevue for some night photos, and this is one's on my list for that. And then across the street, there were a bunch of construction workers doing some work together. They were drawing some lines and measuring some things. And I started to photograph it, and this bus drove by. So in the sequence of photos I was clicking, I was in single photo mode, not in continuous drive. The bus drove by, and here's kind of a first luck photo. It lined up pretty nicely with this gentleman's face. It's not the best photo, but it works out kind of cool. I like his gesture and the way the traffic pole thing, the orange cone, is kind of in front of his face. It's semi-interesting, but not planned. So luck number one. Oh, so this next sequence of photos with these two gentlemen, these two workers, drawing some lines, doing some measuring, and the two above them. So what I was mainly observing was the two gentlemen down below. So you'll notice as I go through this sequence, I really like this one quite a bit because the two down below are looking at each other, there's some parallel in the two above. They're kind of not quite looking at each other, but they're mimicking in parallel a little bit the body direction of the two down below. And I wasn't seeing that up above. I was just noticing down below. And then this one, again, we lose the symmetry above, but I kind of like down below what's going on here. And there we go with that little sequence. This next one, again, is another sketch photo. This one is, again, come back at night. I like the ABCD. There's lots of distractions, lots of busyness in this photo. So normally I probably wouldn't have shown this photo, but again, in sharing how I process and think about these photos as I'm both making them and reviewing them later, I wanted to share this photo for that element. Next, I've got another person on their phone taking a break, but far, far away in this photo. They're in this little bit of a sheltered area, just a little bit of light around them, so I kind of like this. This is another case where if I wish I had the 70 to 300, but I think it still works. You have to look into the scene a little bit to see, okay, why was this photo made, and I do kind of like that. I photographed this corner quite a few times, and this motorcycle's been parked here for the past few times I've been down in Bellevue, and I'm guessing it's this traffic cop's one because he's sitting on it. But the chaos here is with all the orange and the signs, it's just a little overwhelming, and I photograph it every time I walk by just to see if there's something a little different, something changes each time. So I kind of like this. Again, we have the chaos, but we got two guys kind of doing nothing. So it's how construction, I think, works sometimes. There's a whole lot of waiting around for do your part. This one's just a simple of a person in this hallway. I like the simplicity of this, the drama of the way the light is shining, and I like that this person was wearing some red to give a little pop of, even though they're pretty dark, you get a little sense of their color and their clothing, even though they're almost silhouetted. So a little work here in post to do that, some of the Lightroom work to bring out the red in his jacket and to bring out that shaft of light across the center of the frame as well. So sometimes you see it and know how you're going to edit it, and this is one of those cases. I had seen these two construction workers earlier as I walked into Bellevue City Hall to see if there's anything interesting to photograph in there and to take advantage of their public restroom. As I came back out, I was walking past this group of shrubs, plants, as well as there's a little bit of a metal structure right next to it. And I noticed there was this little tiny gap. And if you look through it, just so you can see the two guys on the fence hanging out. So again, this is another one. Normally, I probably would have gotten out the 70 to 300 and zoomed in tighter. But I kind of like this, that the wider frame, even at 90 millimeters, kind of helps you say, why did someone make this photo? And then you have to find it, a little bit of a Where's Waldo, hopefully. And hopefully you can see what I meant to do. Luck photo number 2, I'll call it. Someone walking around Bellevue, not looking at their phone, but eating their lunch on the walk. I was in the intersection crossing when I saw this gentleman walking by. So I had to kind of pause briefly in the intersection and take a quick photo. It's not the best composition, but it was the only one I got. But I think it's strong enough in the person's gesture of eating their food to create enough interest, even though the composition isn't exactly how I would like it. But again, it's a moment that you can't stop, so you just got to take advantage of it as best you can. This is another one I'll kind of call a sketch photo. This is lighting an outdoor dining area with some kind of mylar plastic that they use to separate from the inside to the outside in this, what was supposed to be temporary, I think, during COVID, but has become permanent seating area outside. So it gives this nice hazy kind of glow to these lights, and I really, really like that. I wonder what this will look like later at night if it glows even more. So that's another sketch photo here. Next photo is a building that's recently been, exterior at least, is completed. This is along Northeast 8th in downtown Bellevue. And I like this a lot. I noticed the red ladder. It's about middle of the frame, lower third. And the rest of the building is pretty empty, pretty blank, but there's this one element. And for me, the story I see when I look at this, it reminds me how, wow, to make this whole building takes a big crew of people, but each person works individually to make that happen. So the ladder is an individual person device. So there's a single person that left this ladder there, and it was gone not long after I made this photo. Bus stop cracked window. I love me some texture and minimalism and blurry backgrounds and just moody photos. So this accomplishes that. It's nothing, but it's kind of something dramatic. Not sure what I'll do with this. Again, this is a photo I really enjoy making. It's something that I like, so I continue to make photos of these things. And I guess my lesson learned here is make photos of things you like. Start there, and then hopefully there might be an audience for that. Here's a horizontal of that ladder a little closer. Another lesson I reminded myself in this sequence of photos is the photo you like best may not be where you first noticed the thing you wanted to make a photo of. You may have to move. I noticed that ladder probably 100 feet farther away, and I prefer this perspective, this little bit closer and a little bit different angle. So you can really see the ladder here. So if you see a photo and you make the photo and you're like, I don't really like it, my suggestion is move and see if there's a better composition through the movement. So this photo is of a new fountain. One of the older buildings in Bellevue had a major renovation. They added a pretty big restaurant and a cafe at the ground level, and they put a new fountain in. And I just wanted to make this photo, again, somewhat as a sketch. Again, at night is lit up, so there's lights down below, so this will be really cool at night. But just wanted to do kind of a quick abstract here of the water frozen at 1/5000 of a second. I'm shooting, by the way, photographing here in aperture priority all day. I find that it helps me respond more quickly to changing environments. I've previously, in years past, photographed in manual mode, but there were a lot of photos I missed because I wasn't able to get to the exposure I needed. So I've been doing aperture priority lately. And then the last sequence of photos here is towards the end, and I was taking a break. I photographed this wall before, and I really like the composition with the two lights, and then there's a small area for someone to walk into. I wish it was a little bigger, but it's not. So I'm sitting down, hanging out here, and waiting to see who walks by. So get a lot of people on devices, just doing their walk, and that's cool. But the next photo is going to be the photo that kind of drove everything to this conversation around luck. So the next photo is what my intention was to photograph this person I saw coming from my right, riding a bicycle. And I thought, oh, I'll make some photos. I'll just do it from the hip and click off a few photos of them riding by. I know I'm at 50 millimeters. It's going to be pretty tight, probably be abstract, probably be a little blurry. But I thought, oh, it'd be kind of fun. Just shoot it without even looking. Just again, I'm in single photo mode, not in continuous drive. So it's I'm clicking, and here's one of the photos that I really like. It didn't focus on the bike because I think it was inside the minimum focusing distance. His bike was pretty close to me, and there was a gentleman walking by on his phone, of course. And I really like how it framed up. I wasn't even looking at the screen. I had the camera resting on my leg as I'm sitting down. I really like this photo quite a bit, and I know it's luck, but I also, part of me believes there might be some intuition that happens just from experience of making photos for so many years, and especially making photos in this location for so long, that I got a little lucky because I was prepared and had repeated enough, and I got this photo. Returning to people just walking by, here's another dude in black. That's going to be a theme in these photos, people wearing black in Bellevue. On his phone, another person in black on their phone, and then two people were walking in opposite directions, and I didn't quite time this as well as I would like, but I do like the opposite direction thing. You can see in this photo where the window comes in. Again, in Michael's perfect world, this wall would extend about another 5 feet, so I have just a little bit more room to frame people in, but they didn't ask me for that when they were making the building. Another person in black on their mobile device, plus some headphones. So yeah, lots of black in Bellevue. So yeah, I think I was wearing gray, so at least I was not fully in black. And then this photo is one of my favorites. I really like these two people, and again, a little bit of luck here. As I was clicking through a sequence of 2 or 3 photos, their postures lined up pretty symmetrically, both their arms and their legs. I first noticed the younger person here wearing the orange pants. I thought, oh, that'd be cool against the background. That got my attention, and then again, a few clicks, and I really like how they line up, somewhat symmetrical, parallel to each other in their gestures. Person on their phone, but not actually looking at their phone, but just holding it in case they need something to look at. I always think that's kind of interesting and funny. Not that I've ever done it. Yeah, I have. And then last one here, this gentleman was taking a break from his food delivery and hanging out on the bench that's there across from me. I'm standing up in this photo as I was just about getting ready to leave, and he sat down. So I thought, one more. And again, just another person doing their thing, taking a break, living their life, doing their day. So that's this collection of photos from Bellevue. As always, I'd welcome your conversation, both about how I did this video this time, the process of narration. Were there too many photos? I kind of wanted to share the sequence and process, but I hope it didn't feel too long. Also, if you prefer the slideshow at the end kind of thing with music, let me know that. Or if you like to change it up a little bit, yeah. Either way is fine. So that's what I have for now. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. So until I see you then, I hope you stay safe, stay well, and have fun creating photos. Bye for now.